Hi guys, in today's video I'm going to be talking you through a 3-step routine to try and regain mobility through the hip, and also looking at how you can stabilise your lower back by using your torso and your abdominals to try and reduce any lower back pain. So the first phase that we're going to look at is trying to regain the mobility through the hip joint. Now this is really important because if you lack mobility in the hip, the likelihood is that the muscles in your lower back are going to tighten up, and you're going to start to try and use your lower back to get the movement of what the hip should be able to create for you. So the first exercise is what we call kneeling hip extensions. So the idea would be that you go onto all fours first of all. Now you want to have your hands set about shoulder width apart, and really try and pin your hands down into the floor. Keep the elbows locked out, and then have your knees about shoulder width. Create some tension in the ground first of all, and then just on the right hand side to start off with, we're going to work on trying to drive the heel up towards the ceiling into hip extension and draw back down again. Now the goal here is when you drive up and control back under, you don't lose control of your lower back or your pelvis, okay? So we don't get any sort of rocking or swaying from side to side. And another really important factor to look at is when you drive up to the top here, we don't start to arch the lower back to try and create extra movement as well. So you're just working with whatever range of movement you've got in the hip, from the bottom, drawing up to the top, trying to squeeze the buttock at the top as well to get that support, and then drawing back under. Now you'd repeat this on both the right and the left hand side, and you would look at doing around 15 repetitions at a really slow and steady tempo. The second exercise looks at trying to now stabilise through the pelvis and through the abdominals to try and create the strength needed in the abdominals to support that lower back position. So again, coming down onto all fours, we're going to have your hands shoulder width apart, we're going to have your knees directly under the hips, and we're just going to tuck your toes under at the back as well. From here, I want you to try and think about gripping the floor so you get some tension through the arms, and then we're just going to drive the knees up slightly so we come up into a tabletop position. Now when you're in this position, what I want you to focus on is taking some real deep breaths in, so breathing in through the nose, and then using the exhale to try and really create some power and tension through the abdominals. So the best way to think about this is imagine if you had a straw in your mouth and you were blowing out through the straw, trying to blow a balloon up, trying to really expel all of the air from the lungs, and that will really tighten up the abs. So again, onto all fours, grip the floor, pin yourself into position, drive the knees up, deep inhale through the nose, powerful exhale, trying to really tighten the abdominals up. Now if you can work on trying to do between 3 to 5 deep breaths in and out before you bring the knees back to the floor, and try and repeat that 3 to 5 times as well. Hopefully you'll start to feel the abdominals really start to fire up and start working at the same time. The third exercise, again, looks at trying to stabilise the lower back by strengthening the abdominals. So we call this one leg lowering. So we're going to start on your back first of all. Now from here, the important thing is when you're laying on your back, we want to try and strengthen you in what we call a neutral spine position. So there might be a slight arch in that lower back, and you might just be able to put your hand underneath it as a stabiliser, okay? I'm going to draw both knees up to 90 degrees. Now the important thing here is that I'm going to try and use the abdominals to brace, but I want the pressure on my hand to stay the same all the way through the movement. So the pressure that I can feel on my hand in this position is going to stay the same as I slowly tap my heel to the floor, using the abdominals to brace, draw back up, and then try the same on the other leg. So again, use the abdominals, keep the pressure on your hand the same all the way through, and draw back up to the top. Now for this one, you probably find it's better off. So the goal is to try and work on doing 15 on each side, so 15 repetitions on each side, but break them down into blocks of 5. Okay, so you do 5 left to right, have a little recovery, do a second round, again have a little recovery, and then do the third and final round afterwards. The goal all the way through is try and keep the pressure on your hand the same. So if you feel the pressure start to push down on your hand, that means that you've pushed your back into the floor and you've lost control of the movement. The same if you feel that your back lifts up off the hand, that's your spine arching or extending. And again, it shows that you've lost control of the movement. So really slow, steady tempo, control the pressure on your hand all the way through, and do 3 rounds of 5 repetitions on each leg.